So how do you think the veganism and the ethics, I mean, Uranus is about like progressive values in a lot of ways, or can be, mixed with technology in the future. Do you think people were just, do you think it has to do with people looking at the impact of, for example, factory farming, GMO crops, cattle, and, do you think
Yes.
that is where it came out of? Like the people could also spread activist and social justice messages faster through social media without anyone censoring them. We're not looking at big media telling us how food should look or what's happening. We're going there and putting the drone up and capturing it.
All of that. And one of the fascinating things I think with a big swath of what you just said is big media has its pluses, believe it or not.
Yeah, I work for them.
What it doesn't do is get into that what's on your plate today and my plate and anybody listening's plate and all of that. But we can do that now by way of these, I would argue not big media companies, but big tech companies, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and the list goes on, at Pinterest, not the least. That changes things. It's pulled down a lot of barriers, which weren't necessarily negative or positive. It's I can find out some of what you ate in the last week, and vice versa, and certainly other things. That has shifted the world in a lot of ways. Certainly, if we want to talk about politics, which per se we're not, even though we're talking about food today. But one of the things I want to call up here, we're talking about these Uranus periods, and Uranus in Aries is Arab Spring is Uranus in Aries. It's right at the beginning
the Arab
of that.
Spring,
And that necessarily
uprising.
has to do with then, right, this is many years ago now, is Twitter. And then being able to talk more freely than they ever
revolution
had
in the Middle
before,
East.
and in real time. There are catches to that, and there are many other ways that we can talk about free speech in countries who do not believe in free speech. I think we sometimes forget that in the U.S. and most of the Western world. Otherwise, free speech is not still guaranteed in most of the world. And Uranus in Aries is this energy like, I want to radically, or just fully, right, radical to some, not to others, myself. So I think when you add or get in a sort of a vegan context or a vegan lane, that was already there. Vegan's been around, as far as the term, 70 plus years.
Right.
But it's really taken hold, I would say, basically in the 2010s, because more people were finding out about it, because media has changed, right? We could independently produce a print magazine. Certainly we could independently produce now a digital magazine, as many do, and get that out there. And we don't necessarily need the $1 billion or the 9 figures or the maybe even $1 million. And so that's changed a lot of activism.